Cold concrete presses against my hip. My wrists throb where the metal cuffs have rubbed the skin raw, and when I try to open my eyes, my lashes stick together with dried tears and something crusty I don't want to think about. When I finally force them open, darkness swallows everything except a weak stream of gray light filtering through a high, narrow window. The chain rattles when I shift position. Heavy links connect the cuff on my left wrist to a bolt in the wall behind me. The skin underneath is blistered and weeping. How long has it been? Weeks blur together down here. No clock. No calendar. Just the perpetual dampness of the basement, the smell of mildew and old furnace oil, and the sound of my own breathing echoing off brick walls. My orange prison jumpsuit is stiff with dirt and sweat. The fabric is torn along the left shoulder seam where I tried to rip it for bandages. My mouth tastes like rust. When did I last eat? Yesterday? The day before? The old man who keeps me here comes down sporadically. Sometimes he brings stale bread and warm bottled water. Sometimes he just stands at the bottom of the stairs and stares at me with those cold, pale eyes, muttering about justice and God's will and how people like me don't deserve mercy. I remember the transport van. January sleet hitting the windshield. 2 guards in the front, 3 of us prisoners in the back, shackled together. We'd been on the highway for 20 minutes when the van pulled over. I thought it was a bathroom break. Then the doors opened and the old man was there with a gun. The guards didn't even fight him. Just stepped aside like they'd been paid to. That was 3 months ago. Maybe longer. Time loses meaning when every day is exactly the same shade of gray. Tonight feels different. Sounds above me that don't belong. Not the old man's shuffling gait or the creak of his rocking chair in the room overhead. Multiple footsteps. Rapid. Heavy. Shouting in a language I don't understand but recognize as Italian. Something crashes. Glass shatters. Furniture scrapes across floorboards. My heart hammers as I push myself back against the wall, trying to make myself invisible. The chain drags across concrete, loud enough to give me away. I hold my breath. The basement door at the top of the stairs flies open so hard it slams against the wall. Wood splinters where the lock was. Heavy boots descend, slow, deliberate, like whoever's coming down doesn't need to rush. Bright white light from a tactical flashlight cuts through the darkness, so intense I have to turn my face away and shield my eyes with my free arm. Madonna Santa. The voice is male. Deep. Each syllable vibrates with fury barely held in check. I can't see him yet, just his silhouette against the brutal brightness behind him. Tall. Broad-shouldered. He stands frozen on the bottom step, 4 meters away. I can hear his breathing, sharp and controlled. Get bolt cutters, he snaps in English, accent thick but clear. Now. And call Luca. Tell him I need him at the estate. I don't care if he's in surgery. Get him here. The light shifts as he steps onto the basement floor. My eyes adjust enough to see him properly now. Dark hair, almost black, pushed back from his forehead. Rain glistens on an expensive charcoal suit that fits him like it was made for his frame. His face is all hard angles, sharp jaw shadowed with stubble, high cheekbones, a nose that's been broken at least once. But what stops my breath are his eyes. Dark. Nearly black in the dim light. And burning with an intensity that makes me want to crawl into the wall behind me. He takes another step closer, and I see the gun holstered at his hip. My throat closes. I'm not going to hurt you. His voice is quieter now, but no less dangerous. He crouches down slowly, carefully, like he's approaching a wounded animal. When he's at eye level, close enough that I can smell expensive cologne mixed with gunpowder and rain, he exhales through his nose. My name is Emidio Trevisani. The name punches through me like a fist. Trevisani. The same name as the old man who's been keeping me in this basement. The man who kidnapped me from a prison transport. The man who whispers Bible verses while I cry for water. I try to scramble backward, but the chain stops me short. Pain shoots through my wrist. Wait. He holds up both hands, palms out. No weapon. I didn't know. I swear to you, I didn't know you were here. You're his son. My voice cracks from disuse. It's the first time I've spoken in days. His jaw tightens. Something flickers across his face. Shame, maybe, or rage. Yes. A man appears at the top of the stairs with bolt cutters. Emidio doesn't look away from me. Bring them down. Carefully. Boss, the police are not coming here tonight. His voice is cold steel. Cut the chain. The man descends, and within seconds, the bolt cutters snap through the link attaching me to the wall. The chain falls away, but the cuff is still locked around my wrist. Emidio reaches for it, and I flinch so hard I nearly fall over. He freezes. Pulls his hand back. We'll cut it off at the compound. Safer there. Can you walk? I don't answer. Can't answer. Because all I can think is that I've escaped one cage only to be found by the son of my captor. And I have no idea if this rescue is real or just another level of hell. The SUV smells like leather and gunpowder. I'm in the back seat, wrapped in someone's suit jacket that's 3 sizes too large, watching the estate disappear through the rear window. Emidio sits across from me, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Italian that sounds like bullets being chambered. The man driving doesn't look back once. Where are we going? My voice is hoarse, barely audible over the engine. Emidio lowers the phone. My compound. You need a doctor. I need answers. I pull the jacket tighter around my shoulders. The cuff is still locked around my wrist, chain dangling. Why did he take me? His jaw works. I don't know. You're lying. I don't know, he repeats, slower this time. My father hasn't returned my calls in 3 weeks. I came to check on him tonight. I didn't expect, he stops. Looks out the window. What's your name? I hesitate. Deborah Ramirez is a name on a police database. A prison record. A woman who killed her husband and ran. But what choice do I have? Deborah. How long were you down there, Deborah? 3 months. Maybe longer. Something dark crosses his face. He raises the phone again. Dante. I need you to find my father. Now. Check the hunting cabin upstate. Check his boat. Check every property we own. A pause. I don't care what he told you. Find him. The compound is a fortress. High walls. Armed guards at the gate. Security cameras everywhere. They take me through a side entrance into a medical room that looks better equipped than most hospitals. A man in his 50s, gray hair and tired eyes, is waiting with a nurse. This is Dr. Luca Marino, Emidio says. He's going to examine you. I pull back. I don't need. You've been chained in a basement for 3 months. His voice is firm but not cruel. You need medical attention. I'll be right outside. He leaves before I can argue. Dr. Marino cuts the cuff off carefully, photographs the wounds, checks my vitals with gentle efficiency. The nurse brings warm broth and water. Neither of them asks questions I don't want to answer. When they're done, Emidio returns with 3 men. They're older, dressed in expensive suits, and they look at me like I'm a problem they need to solve. Gentlemen. Emidio's voice could cut glass. When was the last time any of you spoke to my father? The tallest one clears his throat. 2 weeks ago. He said he was taking time for personal reflection. Personal reflection. Emidio repeats it slowly. And none of you thought to mention that he's been keeping a woman chained in his basement? Silence. We didn't know, the shorter one says quickly. Boss, we had no idea. Then you're either incompetent or complicit. Emidio steps closer. Which is it? We would never. Get out. All of you. And if I find out you knew anything about this, you'll wish my father had locked you in that basement instead. They leave quickly. Emidio turns to me, and for a moment, the fury in his eyes softens into something almost human. You're safe here. No one will hurt you. I want to believe him. But I've been hurt by too many men who said the same thing. The nightmares come every time I close my eyes. Sometimes it's the basement, the chain, the smell of mold, the old man's voice reciting scripture while I beg for water. Other times it's older memories. The prison yard at dawn. The sound of metal doors slamming. My cellmates breathing in the bunk above mine. The courtroom where 12 strangers decided I was a murderer instead of a survivor. I wake up screaming into a silk pillowcase. The guest room Emidio gave me has floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking manicured gardens. There's a bathroom with marble counters and a shower with water pressure that feels like a miracle. Clean clothes in the closet. 3 meals a day brought by a housekeeper who doesn't make eye contact. It's a cage made of luxury, but it's still a cage. 4 days after the rescue, Dr. Marino returns for a follow-up examination. He's kind, methodical, asking about pain levels and sleep quality. I answer honestly because what's the point of lying to a doctor? When he's finished, he closes his medical bag and studies me with careful eyes. Your wrist is healing well, he says. But you have older injuries. Healed fractures in your ribs. Scar tissue consistent with repeated trauma. A pause. And your blood work came back. I had to run it through the national database for baseline comparison. My stomach drops. I see. That's all I can manage. He stands. I've reported my findings to Emidio. I'm sorry. 2 hours later, Emidio walks into the room without knocking. He's holding a tablet, and his expression is unreadable. He sets it on the table between us. The screen shows a prison record. My prison record. Deborah Ramirez, he reads. Convicted of second-degree murder. Sentenced to 18 years. Escaped during transport 3 months ago. He looks up. The same day my father took you. I don't run. There's nowhere to go. Yes. You killed your husband. Yes. The report says you stabbed him 14 times. 15. My voice doesn't shake. I counted. He's quiet for a long moment. Then he sits down across from me, tablet forgotten. Tell me what happened. So I do. I tell him about Daniel. About the first time he hit me, 2 months after our wedding. About the hospital visits I explained away as clumsiness. About going to the police 3 times and being told it was a domestic matter. About the night he came home drunk and said he was finally going to kill me, and how I grabbed the kitchen knife because I knew, if I didn't stop him, I'd be dead. The jury didn't believe me, I finish. They said 15 stab wounds was excessive. That if I was really defending myself, 1 would have been enough. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Like I should have been thinking clearly while my husband was choking the life out of me. Emidio's hands are folded on the table. His knuckles are white. I'm not asking you to let me go, I say. I know what I am. But I'm also not going back to that prison. I'd rather die here. He stands abruptly, and for a second, I think he's going to call the authorities. Instead, he walks to the window and looks out at the gardens. My mother, he says quietly, had scars too. My father gave them to her. He turns to face me. You're not going back to prison, Deborah. Not while I'm alive to prevent it. I find Emidio in his office at 7 in the morning, already dressed in a 3-piece suit, reading through documents that look important. I don't knock. I need a lawyer. He glances up, unsurprised. Good morning to you too. I'm serious. If you're not turning me in, then I need to fix this legally. I can't spend the rest of my life hiding in your guest room like some kind of kept woman. He sets down his pen. What exactly are you proposing? I want to appeal my conviction. Self-defense should have been accepted. My attorney was overworked and underpaid. There's evidence that wasn't presented. Witnesses who weren't called. I cross my arms. I need a real lawyer. And an investigator who knows what they're doing. That will be expensive. Then add it to whatever debt I apparently owe you for rescuing me. Something flickers in his eyes, amusement, maybe, or respect. You don't owe me anything, Deborah. He pulls out his phone. I'll make some calls. Within 48 hours, I'm sitting across from Elena Cortez, a defense attorney with a reputation for winning impossible cases, and Marcus Webb, a private investigator who used to work homicide. They listen to my story, take notes, and promise nothing except that they'll look into it. But I can't just sit around waiting. The compound has security monitors, staff rotations, people coming and going at all hours. I ask Emidio if I can work in the security office. He raises an eyebrow but doesn't refuse. You have experience with this? I was a social worker for 6 years before I got married. I know how to read people. I know when someone's lying. He considers this. All right. But you report anything suspicious directly to me. The work is straightforward, monitoring cameras, logging visitors, flagging inconsistencies. But it gives me purpose. It gives me something other than my own thoughts. And it lets me observe Emidio's world up close. The men who come through are loyal, yes, but some carry tension in their shoulders. Others avoid eye contact. I make notes. Late one night, I find Emidio in the library, whiskey in hand, staring at a photograph on the mantel. It's a family portrait, younger version of him, a beautiful woman who must be his mother, and Walter, looking stern even then. She left when I was 16, he says without turning around. Took nothing but her clothes and drove straight to the airport. Last I heard, she was living in Argentina. Smart woman. She begged me to come with her. He takes a drink. I stayed. Thought I could fix him. Thought if I was good enough, strong enough, he'd stop being what he was. You can't fix people who don't want to be fixed. He finally looks at me. Is that what you tell yourself about your husband? I don't tell myself anything about Daniel anymore. He's dead. I made sure of it. And yet you're still living with what he did to you. The words hit harder than I expect. I sit down in the chair across from him. Your father, I say carefully. What do you think he wanted from me? I don't know. But I'm going to find out. He refills his glass. My father spent his whole life punishing people he thought deserved it. Somewhere along the way, he stopped being able to tell the difference between justice and cruelty. Sounds familiar. Is that what you think I am? Cruel. I think you're trying very hard not to be. He smiles, but there's no happiness in it. Then we're both carrying ghosts, aren't we? I raise my water glass in a mock toast. To ghosts and the sins of our fathers. He clinks his whiskey against it. And to finding our way out from under them. The envelope arrives on a Tuesday, hand-delivered by a courier who disappears before security can question him. Emidio opens it in his office with me standing behind his desk, watching the security feeds like I've done every day for 2 weeks now. His face goes pale. What is it? He hands me a single sheet of paper. The handwriting is shaky but deliberate. You don't understand what I was protecting you from. These people, they poison everything they touch. I did what was necessary. I always have. It's from him, Emidio says quietly. From my father. Marcus Webb arrives within the hour, spreading photographs across the conference table like tarot cards revealing a terrible future. 5 women. All between 25 and 40. All with criminal records. 3 were found dead over the past 8 years, ruled accidents or suicides. 2 are still missing. Your father owned property near where each of these women disappeared, Marcus says. The hunting cabin. The lake house. The warehouse in Newark. Emidio's hands are flat on the table. You're saying he's done this before. I'm saying there's a pattern. Women who escaped justice, in his view. Women he decided needed to be punished. Marcus taps one photograph. This one was acquitted of poisoning her boyfriend. Found dead 2 months later from an apparent overdose. Except the coroner noted bruising inconsistent with self-administration. I stare at the faces. Women who could have been me. Women who were me. He thinks he's some kind of vigilante. He thinks he's God, Emidio says. His voice is hollow. That night, Emidio's inner circle gathers for what he calls a family dinner. It's anything but familial. 8 men in expensive suits, seated around a table laden with food no one's touching. I'm there because Emidio insisted, though every eye in the room questions why. We need to discuss the Volter situation, says Carmine Russo, a thick-necked man with silver hair. With respect, Emidio, he's still your father. My father kidnapped and imprisoned an innocent woman for 3 months. Emidio's voice is steel. There's nothing to discuss. The families are asking questions, another man interjects. They want to know where your loyalty lies. Blood or business? My loyalty, Emidio says slowly, is to what's right. Carmine laughs. It's an ugly sound. Since when do we deal in right? We deal in power. In respect. In family. His eyes slide to me. You're protecting a fugitive. A convicted murderer. How does that serve the family? I expect Emidio to defend me. Instead he stands, buttoning his suit jacket with deliberate calm. Deborah killed a man who was beating her to death. My father tortured women because his paranoia told him they deserved it. He leans forward, palms on the table. If you can't see the difference, Carmine, then you're stupider than I thought. The room goes silent. Anyone else have questions about my loyalty? Emidio looks around the table. No one speaks. Good. Then we're done here. They file out like scolded children. When the room is empty except for us, Emidio pours himself 3 fingers of scotch and downs it in one swallow. That went well, I say. They're going to be a problem. They already are. I move to stand beside him. But thank you. For what you said. He looks at me, and something passes between us that feels like understanding. Like 2 people recognizing their own scars in someone else's skin. He won't stop, Emidio says. My father. He thinks he's righteous. Then we stop him first. The coffee tastes wrong. Bitter in a way that has nothing to do with the brew. I'm 3 sips in when my vision starts to blur at the edges. The security monitor in front of me doubles, then triples. My hand reaches for the desk but misses. I'm on the floor when Emidio finds me. I hear him shouting for Dr. Marino, feel his hands on my face, but everything is distant and hollow like I'm underwater. The last thing I remember is the ceiling spinning above me. I wake up 12 hours later in the medical room, and 4 in my arm and Emidio sitting in the chair beside the bed. His eyes are bloodshot. His suit jacket is gone, sleeves rolled up, and there's something feral in the way he looks at me. Aconite, he says. Wolfsbane. In your coffee. My throat is too dry to respond. Someone in this compound tried to kill you. His voice is quiet, which somehow makes it more terrifying. Someone I trusted. It takes 2 days to find him. Marco Santini, one of Emidio's logistics coordinators. A man who's been on Volter's payroll for 15 years. They find encrypted messages on his phone, instructions from Volter, promises of protection and money. Marco doesn't deny it when they drag him into Emidio's office. He just shrugs and says, "Your father's the rightful head of this family. Not you." I don't ask what happens to Marco. I don't want to know. Emidio moves me that night. A safe house 2 hours north, tucked into forest so thick you can't see the sky. It's smaller than the compound, 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, reinforced windows. 2 guards outside. Emidio stays. You don't have to babysit me, I say, unpacking the bag someone packed for me. I'm not leaving you alone until this is finished. We fall into an uneasy routine. He works from the dining table, phone calls and encrypted emails. I read the case files Elena sent over, looking for holes in my conviction. We eat dinner together in silence. We don't talk about the poison or Marco or the fact that someone wants me dead badly enough to betray the man sitting across from me. It's the 4th night when everything breaks open. I find him on the back porch, staring into the dark woods, and I don't know what possesses me but I sit down beside him. Why are you doing this? I ask. Really? You could have turned me in. You could have let your father's man finish what he started. Why protect me? He's quiet for a long time. Because I'm tired, he finally says. Tired of living in a world where violence is the answer to everything. Tired of being my father's son. You're not him. Aren't I? He looks at me. I've killed people, Deborah. I've ordered worse. I've built an empire on fear and blood, and I tell myself it's business, it's tradition, it's the only way. But the truth is I don't know how to be anything else. Then learn. It's not that simple. It never is. I pull my knees to my chest. I'm terrified of you. Of what you are. Of caring about someone who lives the way you do. But I'm also terrified of not caring. Of being so broken that I can't let anyone in ever again. He reaches over, takes my hand. His palm is warm against mine. I have a plan. To get out. Legitimate businesses, clean money, everything legal. But I can't do it with my father still out there, still pulling strings. I have to end this first. Then we end it together. His grip tightens. Together. The call comes at 3 in the morning. Emidio's phone lights up the dark bedroom where he's been sleeping on the couch, his insistence, not mine. I hear his voice go cold and flat, the tone he uses when he's forcing himself not to feel. When? A pause. Both of them. Another pause. I'll be there in an hour. He's dressed and armed before I can ask what happened. His face in the dim light looks carved from stone. My restaurant in the city. The one my mother loved, the one I kept running for her. His jaw works. Someone set fire to the kitchen. 2 employees were closing up. They didn't make it out. I grab my jacket. I'm coming with you. Deborah. I'm coming. The scene is chaos. Fire trucks, police cars, yellow tape cordoning off what's left of the building. The smell of smoke and something worse hangs in the air. Emidio speaks to the fire marshal, to his people, his face a mask of controlled fury. I stay close, watching the crowd, the way I learned in the security office. A man in the crowd catches my attention. Older, wearing a baseball cap pulled low. He's not watching the fire. He's watching Emidio. And he's smiling. Emidio, I say quietly, touching his arm. But when I look back, the man is gone. We return to the safe house at dawn. Emidio pours himself a drink he doesn't touch. Sophia and Marcus, he says. The employees. Sophia had 2 kids. Marcus was putting himself through culinary school. He slams his fist on the table. My father did this. He's telling me that everyone I care about is a target. My phone rings before I can respond. Elena's name flashes on the screen. Deborah, we found it. Her voice is breathless with excitement. Hospital records from the night you killed your husband. The ER doctor documented injuries consistent with strangulation. Photographs that were never submitted to evidence. Witness statements from neighbors who heard you screaming for help hours before. This could overturn your conviction. For the first time in years, I feel something like hope. When can we file? I'm sending the documents to you now, via secure courier. We can have a hearing scheduled within. Her voice cuts off. Background noise. Then, wait, someone's at my. The line goes dead. I try calling back. Nothing. I try Marcus Webb. Voicemail. Elena again. Straight to voicemail. What's wrong? Emidio is already on his feet. Elena found evidence. She was sending it. But someone, my hands are shaking. Emidio, what if he got to her? He's already dialing. Barking orders in Italian. Sending people to Elena's office, her apartment, the courier company. We wait in terrible silence. The call comes 30 minutes later. Elena is fine, scared but unharmed. Her office was broken into. The documents are gone. The digital backups were wiped. Everything. It was him, I say. My voice sounds far away. Volta knew about the evidence. He has someone watching us, watching everyone we contact. Emidio's phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. You can't protect them all. Come home, son. End this before more people die for your mistakes. He stares at the message, and I watch something shift in his eyes. The last remnant of the son hoping his father could be reasoned with dies. He's going to burn the whole world down, Emidio says quietly. And he'll call it love. The email arrives encrypted, routed through 6 servers. Marcus Webb traces it anyway. The message is simple: meet me. The old port warehouse. Come alone and we end this like men. Your father. It's a trap, I say immediately. Obviously. Emidio is already checking his gun, his face unreadable. But he's offering to meet. To talk. I have to take it. You don't have to do anything. Yes, I do. He looks at me. If there's even a chance this ends without more bodies, I have to try. He leaves at midnight with 4 armed men. I watch the convoy disappear into the dark from the safe house window, anxiety crawling up my spine like insects. Something feels wrong. Not just wrong, calculated. I pull up the security footage on my laptop, scrolling through the past 72 hours. Patterns. There are always patterns. Walter is meticulous, obsessive. Every move he makes has purpose. Then I see it. A vehicle passing the safe house 3 times in 2 days. Different times. Different approaches. Each time slowing just slightly at the driveway. I pull up traffic camera footage from nearby intersections. The same vehicle appears on routes leading to Elena's office. To Marcus Webb's apartment. To the restaurant that burned. My blood turns to ice. The meeting isn't the trap. The meeting is the distraction. I call Emidio. Once. Twice. It goes straight to voicemail. He must have his phone silenced for the meet. I try the guards outside. No answer. I look out the window and my stomach drops. Both guards are slumped in their posts. I grab the gun Emidio left me, check the ammunition with shaking hands, and dial the compound's emergency line. This is Deborah Ramirez. The safe house is compromised. Send everyone. Now. I give them the address and hang up before they can argue. The front door lock clicks. Someone's using a key. I move into the bedroom, press myself against the wall beside the door, gun raised. Footsteps in the living room. Slow. Methodical. Then Walter's voice, raspy and pleased. I know you're here, child. My son took the bait perfectly. Always so predictable, so desperate to save everyone. Closer now. But you're the disease I need to cut out. Once you're gone, Emidio will understand. He'll come home. The bedroom door opens. I see his silhouette, the gun in his hand. I fire first. The shot hits his shoulder. He staggers, drops his weapon. I kick it away and keep my gun trained on him as he falls to his knees. You should be dead, he gasps, clutching the wound. You deserve to be dead. A lot of people deserve a lot of things. I hear sirens in the distance. Backup arriving. But you don't get to decide who lives and who dies anymore. Emidio crashes through the front door seconds later, wild-eyed and breathing hard. He stops when he sees the scene, his father on the floor bleeding, me standing over him with a gun. He came for me, I say. The meeting was bait. He wanted you gone so he could finish what he started. Emidio looks at his father. Walter stares back, defiant even in defeat. You chose wrong, Walter spits. You chose this murderer over your family. No, Emidio says quietly, crouching down to meet his father's eyes. You did. Federal agents arrive 10 minutes later. Walter Trevisani is taken into custody, charged with kidnapping, arson, murder. The list is long. As they lead him away, he looks back once. Not at Emidio. At me. Still convinced he was righteous. The federal building is concrete and glass, sterile in its efficiency. Walter Trevisani sits in an interrogation room, awaiting transfer to a maximum security facility. The charges are extensive, multiple counts of kidnapping, murder, arson, conspiracy. He'll die in prison. Everyone knows it. I didn't have to come here. Emidio offered to spare me this, but I told him no. I need to see Volta one last time. Not as a victim. As someone who survived him. They let me speak to him through reinforced glass, a guard stationed at each door. Volta looks smaller now, diminished in an orange jumpsuit that mirrors the one I wore when he took me. The symmetry isn't lost on either of us. You came, he says. His voice is hoarse. I thought you'd hide behind my son. I don't hide anymore. I sit down across from him. I wanted you to see me. Free. Alive. Everything you tried to destroy. You killed your husband in cold blood. I killed a man who was choking the life out of me. That's not cold blood. That's survival. He leans forward, chains rattling. You think you're righteous? You think you're innocent? No. I think I'm human. Flawed and broken and trying to live despite what was done to me. I meet his eyes. You convinced yourself you were delivering justice. But justice doesn't chain women in basements. Justice doesn't burn buildings with people inside. What you did was cruelty wearing a mask, and you're the only one who couldn't see it. Something flickers in his expression. Not remorse, he's too far gone for that. But maybe recognition. Maybe, for just a second, he sees what he became. My son will fall, Volta says quietly. He's weak. He'll fail without me. Your son is stronger than you ever were. Because he chose to change. I stand. I don't say goodbye. I just walk out, and I don't look back. 3 men tried to cage me. Daniel with his fists and his rage. The legal system that called my survival a crime. And Volta with his delusional righteousness. I survived all 3. When I return to the compound, Emidio is in his office surrounded by legal documents. He looks up when I enter, searching my face. How do you feel? Free, I say. And I mean it. Over the next 2 weeks, Emidio systematically dismantles his father's empire. He identifies Salvatore Ricci, his father's consigliere for 30 years, as the one who coordinated everything, the poisoning, the surveillance, the information leaks. Salvatore is arrested quietly, handed over to federal authorities with enough evidence to ensure he'll never see daylight again. The businesses tied to Volta's criminal operations are dissolved. Assets are liquidated or transferred. Emidio keeps only the legitimate ventures, the restaurants, the real estate holdings, the security consultancy. He offers generous severance to the men who worked for his father, but makes it clear, the old ways are over. Some leave angry. Most leave relieved. It's done, he tells me one evening, pouring whiskey for both of us. Everything my father built, everything he was, it's gone. How does it feel? He considers this. Like I can finally breathe. We sit in comfortable silence, 2 people who walked through fire and came out scarred but standing. Elena calls with news. The court has agreed to review my case with the newly recovered evidence. It's not exoneration yet, but it's hope. And hope, I've learned, is enough to start rebuilding. The judge's gavel comes down like a benediction. Case dismissed. Conviction overturned. Ms. Ramirez, you are free to go. Free. The word doesn't feel real yet. I've heard it in my head 1,000 times during the past 6 months, in depositions, in legal briefs, in Elena's confident voice promising we'd get here. But hearing it spoken by a judge, official and final, makes my knees weak. Emidio is in the gallery. Our eyes meet across the courtroom, and he smiles. Not the controlled, careful expression he wears for business. A real smile, the kind that reaches his eyes. Outside, the September sun is warm on my face. Elena hugs me, Marcus shakes my hand with genuine pride, and reporters shout questions I don't answer. I just stand there breathing free air for the first time in years. No cuffs, no chains, no one else's judgment weighing me down. Where to? Emidio asks, car keys in hand. Home, I say. Then I correct myself. Our home. The house is small, a 2-bedroom cottage 20 minutes outside the city. Nothing like the compound or the safe house. No reinforced windows or security cameras. Just a quiet street with old trees and neighbors who wave when they see you. But it has windows. Large ones. Floor to ceiling in the living room, bay windows in the kitchen, skylights in the bedroom. When we first walked through it 3 months ago, Emilio asked why I kept gravitating toward the light. Because I spent too long in the dark, I told him. I need to know the sun still exists. He bought the house the next day. Now I stand in our kitchen, watching him through the window as he works in the backyard. He's traded expensive suits for jeans and a t-shirt, his security consulting firm operating from a downtown office where he teaches corporate executives and wealthy clients how to protect themselves legally. No guns. No threats. Just expertise applied to keeping people safe. He's different now. Lighter. Like he shed a skin he'd been forced to wear for too long. I join him outside with 2 glasses of lemonade. He's planted tomatoes, peppers, herbs, things that grow in sunlight and need tending. We're both learning how to do that. How to tend rather than survive. Think they'll actually grow? I ask, kneeling beside him in the dirt. If we take care of them. He wipes soil from his hands. That's how it works, right? You give things what they need, and they thrive. Is that what we're doing? Thriving. He considers this, looking at the garden, at the house, at me. We're trying. That's more than we had 6 months ago. I lean my head on his shoulder. 2 people who were defined by other people's violence. Daniel's fists. The legal system's failures. Volter's delusions. Emilio's father's legacy. We wore those definitions like chains, carrying them so long we forgot we could put them down. But we did. We chose something different. What do you think happens now? I ask. Now we live. He kisses the top of my head. We wake up tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. We make breakfast. We tend the garden. We build something that's ours. Something quiet. Something ours, he repeats. The sun is setting, painting the sky orange and gold. Inside our house with its large windows, light streams in, filling every corner. No shadows. No darkness. Just the 2 of us and the life we're choosing, day by day, in the sunlight.